Some people find inspiration and genuine admiration in Ainsley Earhardt. She is seen by some as one of those people who misused their position to advocate for unjust causes. Since she became well known across the country as a co-host on Fox News Channel's Fox and Friends, there has been this division. And she's become something of a celebrity, with millions of people watching her morning show. Ainsley has also experienced life's ups and downs, just like the majority of superstars. She has persevered through devastating betrayals from those who had vowed to love her forever, as well as profound personal losses that left her feeling empty and lost in order to be relevant today. Come along as we examine the tragic tale of Ainsley Earhardt, who is still widely admired for her fortitude in the face of hardship. According to some, she is among the most controversial celebrities of our time. Others concur, but fail to perceive the benefits. However, Ainsley was only a small toddler from Spartanburg, South Carolina, before she gained the attention of millions of people. Born to Wayne and Dale Earhardt, who were both hard-working parents. As a child, her family relocated frequently. When they relocated to Columbia, South Carolina, she was still in primary school, and they remained in the Foxcroft neighborhood of Charlotte, North Carolina. Ainsley's dream as a teenager was to become an actor. She never missed the Academy and Grammy Awards events and was active in theater. Her parents were the ones who persuaded her against pursuing an acting profession. She also heeded the counsel of Richard Boyd, an orthodontist from Columbia who worked for her part-time job. He advised her to think about going in his direction. He assured her that she would work with amazing families as an orthodontist and that she would be able to spend any weekend in New York, which was already her ideal city. Ainsley went to Spring Valley High School when her family was still in South Carolina, and it was said that she was very dedicated to her studies. She was also quite active in extracurricular sports like cheerleading, softball, and tennis. Ainsley was obviously not afraid to put in a lot of work, and it makes sense given that her father worked 3 jobs to support his family and ensure his kids didn't miss out on the adventures their friends had. In addition, Dale and Wayne ensured that Ainsley and her siblings had a thorough education and attended church regularly. They studied texts, poems, and inspiring notes at the breakfast table. At 7 in the morning, Dale, an early childhood development teacher in Richland District 2, left his house. Wayne therefore prepared the kids for school before going back to work as a basketball coach at Ford College, Dorman, and Orangeburg-Wilkinson high schools. After that, he accepted a sales position and launched his own business to help finance their kids' college tuition. Ainsley went to Florida State University after graduating high school. She majored in biology at Florida State University in Florida. Her sorority and her time as a student were her passions, but her schoolwork was not. One day, she turned on the TV and watched Lisa Gibbons, a native of Irmo, discuss how her time at USC had equipped her for a career in television. Ainsley moved back home and enrolled in the University of South Carolina, where she earned a bachelor's degree in journalism. Her dream job after graduation was to work as a television journalist in New York City. One of her mentors, though, suggested that she take her time and lay a solid foundation first. She opted to seek a reporting position at a local CBS affiliate in Columbia after taking this to heart. She started establishing sincere relationships with viewers while working as a morning news anchor. Early in her career, she made a name for herself and won an award for Best On-Air Personality from the local town magazine. Although she was grateful for these honors, her main objective as a journalist was not to win these accolades. When Ainsley went to New York City to report on middle school children in South Carolina who were collecting money for firemen following the September 11 attacks, she proved that. Ainsley believed that this amazing consideration needed to be made public. The kids had raised over $500,000 for a new fire vehicle to replace one that had been lost at the World Trade Center site. Afterwards, Ainsley worked as an anchor for a weekday morning newscast at a news organization in San Antonio, Texas. As she typically did in high school, she participated in various activities that had nothing to do with her vocation. Among these personal pursuits was the completion of a half marathon in Austin, Texas. Along with the U.S. Army Golden Knights, she skydived and flew in an F-16 jet with the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds. Ainsley obviously enjoys pushing herself beyond her comfort zone. In the long run, this quality would advance her career. Ainsley got a call from Fox News to launch his career a year and a half after moving to San Antonio. All of the fundamental work she had been doing to advance her career had impressed them. She was asked to try out in New York City by Fox News. But this audition was not your typical one. Ainsley would have to deal with a legend. As the founder of Fox News at the time, Roger Ailes was widely recognized as a significant player in the field. Nobody would have been afraid to sit in front of a legend, but Ainsley was not. Roger knew skill, discipline, and authenticity, which is not unexpected given that he had established an empire. He was also quick to pick that up. He saw Ainsley's sharp journalistic mind right away and offered her a job on his network without hesitation. She quickly moved to New York City after accepting an offer. Even though Ainsley was moving away from Texas, she brought with her all of her true self. Viewers throughout, particularly those from the Midwest and South, were captivated by this realism. People from other regions of the nation appreciated that she wasn't the kind to change who she was in order to further her job. One of the main reasons for Ainsley's behavior on broadcast was that she maintained her conservative beliefs and Christian faith. She merely refused to keep her professional life and her convictions apart. Her conviction that religion plays a significant role in public discourse is further supported by her interactions with pastors and other religious leaders. Since other celebrities and media figures had refrained from discussing anything religious, this was a welcome change for many people. Ainsley was smarter in her strategy because she didn't impose her views on other people and only let her convictions dictate her words and deeds. This strategy made it possible for those who did not share her faith to be more accepting of her. She soon had her own program on Hannity called Ainsley Across America. She later co-hosted Fox and Friends Weekend, America's News Headquarters, and All-American New Year's Eve. Additionally, she was a panelist on Greg Gutfeld's Red Eye and The Live Desk. However, Ainsley's dream reached its zenith in 2016 when she joined Fox and Friends. "I can finally breathe." She went on to say, "I'm in the job I always wanted and I worked so hard to get here. I worked across the country weekends, late night, overnight. I would come in right after 8 p.m. and stay all night, anchor the morning show, and stay and do the headlines. I worked crazy hours and loved every single minute of it, and I'm grateful. I'm finally in the job I love." A woman whose dream had finally come true was revealed by her admission. Despite having accomplished her objective, Ainsley put a lot of effort into developing a rapport with seasoned co-hosts Steve Doocy and Brian Kilmeade. Ainsley contributes to the group by demonstrating her capacity to establish a personal connection with visitors despite a heated political debate. Because of her steadfast defense of Christian principles, she has become a voice for many who believe their beliefs are being attacked. She has publicly spoken about how she feels the media is biased against traditional values. Even now, her candor has helped her establish a connection with the audience. She contributed to the improvement of Fox and Friends' tone and direction as a co-host. She has amassed fans who like the show's blend of news, analysis, and lifestyle content thanks to her faith-informed and values-driven viewpoint. Because of this, Ainsley is now a major part of the next project she had envisioned. According to reports, during his first 8 months in office, President Donald Trump, a vocal supporter of the show, tweeted about Fox and Friends more than 100 times. Given Ainsley's outspoken support for the president, especially in contentious situations, this wouldn't seem suspicious. She took it upon herself to defend the administration's policies and choices because of her affiliation with conservative politics, which put her at the center of heated national disputes. By steadfastly defending her political beliefs, including support for contentious foreign policy initiatives and leadership choices within federal law enforcement, Ainsley continuously enhanced her reputation as a devoted and vocal conservative voice. Her followers who share her ideals praised her for this attitude, but those who don't were critical of it. Some have questioned her decision to include her faith into her art, claiming it wasn't a sincere one. Many have said that she uses her religious convictions for political or personal branding. Additionally, it is simple to gauge public opinion thanks to social media. Therefore, the neutral observer may see how divided that view is when the topic of whether or not Ainsley Earhardt is loved is posed. Ainsley has faced personal difficulties in addition to the difficulties of her job, primarily in her romantic relationships. Kevin McKinney, a fellow University of South Carolina alumnus, was her first husband. Before being divorced, the marriage lasted for a number of years. Ainsley subsequently clarified that the collapse was caused by communication issues, divergent values, and increasing emotional distance, a scenario that many couples navigating contemporary relationships are familiar with. She suffered greatly during the divorce, battling feelings of shame, self-doubt, loss, and despair. She also had to deal with a lot of media attention, which made the recovery process even more challenging. Ainsley relied on prayer and introspection to help her restore some sanity at this time, turning to her faith for consolation and direction. A former quarterback for Clemson University, Will Proctor, was the man she later started dating. Even though many aspects of their relationship were kept secret, it ultimately ended, forcing Ainsley to deal with loss, sadness, and the difficulty of moving on in front of the world once more. Their strong religious ties and Christian background brought Ainsley and her husband Will Proctor together. A future based on love and devotion was promised at their October 13, 2012, wedding at the All Saints Episcopal Church in Winter Park, Florida, which was a celebration of their common beliefs. After years of attempting to conceive, Ainsley and Will were thrilled to announce their pregnancy 2 years into their marriage. Their joy, however, was fleeting. At a normal prenatal visit, the heartbreaking news of a miscarriage was disclosed. The couple was already having problems in their marriage before this loss occurred. Ainsley was lost as a result of this tragedy, drowning in sorrow and future fear. She was so overjoyed to be a mother that she was unable to cope with the denial she had endured. She battled emotions of loneliness and insecurity, doubting her capacity to carry a child to term and worrying that she could never feel the joy of parenthood. Even though she and Will would go on to have another child together, the loss of their first child left her heart scarred for life. But when the couple welcomed their daughter, Aiden Jo Proctor, on November 5, 2015, their love story took a happy turn. This joyous occasion seemed to portend a promising future full of family pleasures and future optimism. News of Will's alleged infidelity, however, broke their idyllic world in a terrible turn of events, leaving Ainsley sobbing from betrayal. She was devastated to learn of the affair, even though it was said to have occurred years before she found out. She found it difficult to make peace with the man she loved and the one she now knew. It seemed impossible to heal the split caused by the weight of this knowledge. After 6 years of marriage, Ainsley announced their divorce in October 2018. A partnership that had once been a ray of optimism and shared goals came to a formal end the next day when Will filed for divorce in New York. Will said the accusations were false and refuted them. However, a person close to the marriage claimed to have proof of the infidelity. The situation was made even more heartbreaking by the source's accusations that Will had cheated on Ainsley with one of her closest friends. This betrayal severely damaged Ainsley's sense of friendship and loyalty in addition to destroying her faith in her spouse. A deeper tragedy compounded the sorrow of betrayal. The death of Ainsley's mother, Dale Elise Giles Earhardt, in 2022 added to her tragic tale. Dale, a devout woman, has struggled with diabetes, a stroke, and gallbladder troubles for a number of years. Following her death, Ainsley took solace in the knowledge that her mother was in Jesus' presence and at peace. She committed herself to working through the grief. Along with concentrating on parenting her child, she also decided to stay single for a while in order to heal and find strength within herself. Rumors about an enigmatic individual quickly started to circulate, though. Vanity Fair claims that Ainsley started dating fellow Fox News host Sean Hannity in August 2019 when they both showed up together as guests at a wedding at the Trump National Golf Course in Bedminster, New Jersey. According to Vanity Fair, she hosted her Fox and Friends show from a remote studio in Hannity's Long Island mansion's basement during the COVID-19 outbreak. She denied being in a relationship at the time. It was then revealed that she and Hannity were engaged at their Florida church on Christmas Day of 2024. They were commended for their efforts to maintain professionalism and were wished a happy marriage. The impact that Ainsley has extends much beyond her work as a TV anchor. As a writer, she shared her personal experiences and values through writing. Her faith journey, the lessons she learned from heartache and disappointment, and how faith helped her rebuild her life throughout trying times are all explored in one of her books, which is a personal memoir. Love, kindness, encouragement, and hope are the main themes of her second book, written for children. Ainsley wants to provide kids a strong moral basis. The book teaches children the value of empathy and emotional support while using a moderate approach to character development. Despite their widespread popularity, both books were criticized. Both, however, made it to the New York Times bestseller list. In the meantime, Ainsley Earhardt's career flourished and she became a significant figure in the industry. At Fox News, she has grown to be a respected figure. Ainsley's professional achievements are self-explanatory. The University of South Carolina has awarded her an honorary doctorate in humane letters, and she has won a Daytime Emmy for Best Morning Programming, among other accolades. Ainsley is well known for her charitable endeavors in addition to her career accomplishments. She believes in giving back to the communities that have helped her, thus she actively supports local causes and organizations. Her zeal for bringing attention to significant social issues and her commitment to women's empowerment further demonstrate her desire to have a good influence. Being an American and the American dream are two of her numerous answers when asked what she is most proud of. She's accomplished a lot of the latter. On the Flagline Avenue of the Americas, she works at Fox News and lives in the Upper East Side of her ideal city, just a short stroll from Central Park. For kids who aspire to follow in her footsteps and pursue careers, Ainsley frequently advises patience. She goes on to say that she is in her 40s and that it took her roughly half of her life to reach this point. Her motto is still always say yes and be willing to volunteer. If you have a positive outlook, don't burn bridges and treat others as equals. You will succeed. For many people, Ainsley's tale is an inspiration. Despite having experienced some sorrow and heartache, she made the decision to recover and prosper. Everyone should take note of this lesson, even if they disagree with some of her viewpoints.